today's Powerboost. There are different ways how we can look at life, right? And there are great philosophers in the past who wrote very wise things about life. And so one not only entertaining, but very, very meaningful analogy is a performance, a play, a performance. Life, if we look at life as a performance, a drama, a play of victory and defeat, happiness and sorrow, life encompasses everything, right? We have times, moments of great happiness. We have times, moments of great darkness. But in each case, in each moment, no matter what, life continues, right? Life is always happening. It will continue. So one is, let us just briefly look at life itself. What is it that we are calling life? What is it that we mean when we use the word life? And so from the spiritual perspective, we ourselves, we are living beings, especially when we refer to the being part, the term human being. There's the human aspect, the costume, the body can be also looked at like a car, my house, but especially also like a costume, like the physical clothes I put on every day, on and off. So the body, I'm in this body temporarily, not forever. But when I change it, I move into another body. I keep changing my costumes. That is the human part. And the being part is that living being, the living being, the conscious being that is aware of its own existence, aware about its own self, that can think, that can feel, that can make decisions. That being is that living energy, the life force in this body. And so we are these beings. It needs to be experimented with because, in spirituality, we are relating to what is not so tangible, in the sense I cannot perceive the soul or see the soul through this human physical eyes, but I can understand myself and I can experience myself. So there's the gross part, the condensed energy is condensed. It's the physical, it's very tangible, can be perceived through the sense organs of the body. But then we all have a sixth sense. And what is that? The sixth sense has the power, is the ability to perceive, and that really happens through the mind as well, where the mind is not just perceiving connected to the sense organs of the body, but where the mind is actually perceiving at a very, very subtle level. So that's where I can sense my own self as a living being, as an eternal being of light. There's so many more details to it. And we, these living beings, we express, we play our part through this body. I play my part through different roles that are connected with this body. The role of a woman, maybe of a sister, maybe of a friend. Then if I work somewhere, if I have a job, then there's relationships. So all of that is connected to the body, the roles we play in one lifetime after another. They are perishable, they are connected, they are defined to the physical, to the body I'm in, whether I'm in a female body or a male body, and then there are different conditioning dependent on cultures and so many more factors. But then the living being is the same. The living being is playing its part through this body, through the different roles. And the roles are many times connected to the physical relationships based on the body. But the being is really the life itself. And so we typically refer to life, to the experiences we have, what is being played out, right? So every actions that I perform, any manifestation through this physical body is an action, and the moment it happens or it happened, it becomes part of the performance, part of what we call life many times, right? But life really is that living being, the living light, manifesting itself, its creativity through this physical body, and then it becomes drama, performance. And what and how we do is very much connected to our state of consciousness. Mm. And there are basically two. There are only two, more or less, levels of consciousness, if we want to call it like that. Either, and consciousness is the self, right? So either I'm in my true self-awareness, in a consciousness that I am a spiritual light, a spiritual being of spiritual light, a soul manifesting, working, expressing through the body. We call that soul consciousness. Or I'm still the soul, but I don't know about myself as a soul. So because I have a body and I keep using the body all the time in so many different ways, I kind of start to define myself as this physical being. I started define myself through the actions I perform, the task I carry out, the job I have, the role I play as a mother, as a female. And we start to take our sense of self from that, and we call that body consciousness. But actually, in either case, it's the soul manifesting its creativity through the body, manifesting itself through the body. But why does it matter to know about myself? Because, and this is like, it's like a revolutionary thing. It was for me, it still is, as I am learning about it, experimenting with it on my own spiritual journey. And that is that actually everything I need in life, I want in life, is already within me. So I am that living being, and life happens through me as I manifest myself. How the consciousness then manifests in form of awareness, actually thoughts. Thoughts create awareness, and that feeds back to my consciousness. Then we have feelings, we have intentions, we have attitudes, we have their motives. And whatever my attitude is, it influences my perception, how I see, and whatever I see, based on that, I will perform actions accordingly. And whatever actions I perform manifest through this body, I am actually creating my own world. I'm creating a reality for myself. Now, if I understand that when it comes, of course, to the main qualities that we all need and actually searching for peace, love, happiness, these are innate qualities of every human soul, every human living being. And they are not just feelings, temporarily feelings or emotions, they are really a state of beings. So if I know about myself as being a peaceful soul, a peaceful being, a living being that is naturally, originally peaceful, loveful, happy, genuinely happy. That happiness refers to an inner state of well-being. And then as I'm aware about that this is really the bedrock of who I am. My consciousness is made up of that. And if I know about it, I can connect to myself in this way and awaken, reawaken, strengthen those qualities as I aim to bring them into action, as I manifest them through my thoughts, through my feelings, through my attitudes, perception, actions. And especially when it then comes to interaction, whether it's among us or with nature, any form of interaction, the expansion of the innate qualities is experienced, and we call them divine virtues, because we are really divine beings of light. Soul is a divine being with its own identity, separate from the entity of the Supreme Being. And so my divine qualities in interaction with the world around me manifests in those divine virtues. And the main one is the moment I'm soul conscious, self-aware that I am this living being of light, there's respect. Respect for the self, respect for the body I have, respect for other living beings, respect for the elements, respect for the environment, respect for the nature, respect for the animal kingdom, respect for everyone and everything. And then, of course, when there's respect, there is pure love and kindness, compassion, acceptance, tolerance. These are some of the feminine qualities of every being that are very, very much needed at this point in time. But coming back to life being a game, a play, a performance of victory and defeat, the time that I am aware of my true self, my original nature of peace, I will manifest a part that is in alignment with who I am. And those are the times, that's the time when I will experience happiness, right? Because if I interact with respect, with kindness, if I'm able to accept, to tolerate differences, because I deeply understand that spiritually we are all brothers, physically there are a lot of differences. Then as we use those beautiful qualities to interact with life, interact with the elements, then the outcome, the consequences will be beautiful actions, will be joy, will be happiness, will be contentment, will love, right? Naturally. But then when we are not aware of who we are, if we fall under the illusion, under the ignorance, I become ignorant of the true self, the true living being, and I start to adopt false identities. I take my sense of self, what I really not, from what I really not. So that's when we then run into trouble. And instead of respect, we many times act in disrespect or with disrespect towards the self, towards our own bodies, towards others, and so on. We many times are not very compassionate, but we become greedy, we become selfish, we become full of desires. We want, we never have enough. We attach, we get angry when our desires not fulfilled. We get very sad and feel loss when there are attachments. So the ego, the false sense of self, puts me really into trouble, because then we want from the outside, we're searching, we're wanting, we're needing. We all start to live on the outside instead of really being connected to myself as this living being, this living light. And so then life becomes a play, a performance of victory and defeat, happiness and sorrow. And so that other element, which is very, very important and which helps us to actually realize and deeply understand that what we see, the drama, the performance, is really a performance. Is when I consider myself, I, the living being, I'm an actor, right? Body is my costume. This world, this beautiful planet Earth is the stage. Sun and moon are the lights. And so everyone else, every other soul is also a living actor in their own costumes. And so if I used that approach, I can become the observer. I become the observer, and I also start to accept that the so-called good and the so-called bad, the light and the dark, they are all part of the journey. They are all part of the performance. The script is made like that. And I then become more and more an observer, and I'm able to accept others' scenes, sceneries, even if they are not happy scenes, whether I am myself involved or not, but learning to become the observer and remind the self it's a huge, unlimited performance. Everyone has their own script. There are all sorts of scenes. And so with that attitude, we don't really get involved emotionally. We are able to maintain our sense of self separate from everyone and everything else. And of course, there's this amazing director who knows all the actors, and the director being, you know, the one who is the source of all goodness. But also, not only that, the director is that one being, that one Father of all souls. And that being knows each one of us individually as souls, our journey throughout time. And that being is the most amazing, most beautiful, most loving being, completely altruistic, benevolent, always. That one being does not take rebirth, does not even have its own body. That one being is the one who has been given the most names. That supreme being is God, is the Father of the soul, the liberator, the guide, the director of this unlimited performance. Think about it. It's a very, very beautiful way to approach life. So let us move into a meditation. I sit quietly and I let go of my temporarily, I let go of my connection to the world around me. And I start to focus inwardly. I turn inward with the awareness that I am a living being of light. And I, the living being, I'm in this body. I reside just behind the eyes. I am an immortal image. And I sit on the throne of the forehead of the body. But I, the living being, the living light, I'm extremely subtle, invisible to these physical eyes. I can visualize myself as this sparkling, beautiful light. I look at this light. I recognize my uniqueness, how special I am, how unique I am. I, the living being, I'm aware of my own existence. I exist. I am. And I have the right to be here. I have the right to be me. We deeply realize these spiritual rights. I'm deeply interested in becoming my own best friend. I start to realize that whatever thoughts I have, whatever I ultimately do, is actually for my own self. Only when I'm good, nice, respectful, kind, passionate, tolerant, truthful, honest with others, can I be happy. I compromise my own truth, the truth that I am a joyful, happy being of light. I compromise that. I act against myself if I consider anyone to be less. My natural nature, my original nature, is of peace. I am peaceful because I'm clean, I'm pure. means I have the purest, highest vision of myself. And I see everyone with that same vision. I give that respect to everyone. I respect for who everyone is. Being in my light, it is my responsibility to stay ignited, to play my part of light through this body. And I stay connected to the unlimited director, the Supreme Being, every moment. It's the director who knows the script, who choreographs the play, who informs me what I need to do, who encourages me, inspires me, reminds me, and cautions me that I always make the effort to live up to my highest potential. And in order to do so, the director, Supreme Being, wants me to remember that one. Because it is only the director who knows the whole play, who knows and sees me for what I truly am, and guides me back so that I can eventually return to my original state of being, my original purity, my original peace, my original love, my original happiness. I must not get caught in anyone else's part. My duty is to play my part to the fullest, the highest, the best possible. I need to stay in the light, to be a light for others. The light guides, empowers, encourages. Om Shanti.